Hi guys! I always see people on forums asking what is the best permanent makeup needle. It depends on different factors: skin, your technique and preferences. What result do you and your client want? Stay until the end of the video. I hope my video helps and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go! My name is Olga Yakovleva. I'm permanent makeup artist, trainer, cosmetologist and tattoo artist. I will be happy for your support, understanding and likes. Subscribe to the channel, leave comments and support us. All information in the video is the subjective opinion of the author, so please read the disclaimer in the description of the video. There is already a video about needle configurations on my channel. I'm going to tell you which needle configurations you should choose for work with different techniques. First, the eyebrows. The most popular techniques are powder brows and hair stroke microblading. My favorite diameter for both techniques is 0.30 mm because it gives medium-sized pixels and more pigment implanted into the skin than with smaller diameter, so you paint your workspace faster. For eyebrows, I choose a long or medium taper. It depends on the skin you are going to work with. I can work with a long needle taper on all skin and use different tattoo machines. But if you are a beginner artist or you are still feeling of skin beds, I recommend using the medium taper for dry, aged and very thin skin. You injure the skin less and implant the pigment not very deeply. And we are going to speak about needle configurations. Of course, 1 rl needle configurations are very popular, but permanent makeup artists often use 3 or 5 rl with 3 or 5 needles tightly grouped in a circle. It groups of liner needles with name round liner. Artists also use 3 or 5 RS, each group of shading needles with name round shader. You can learn more about groups of needles from my other video. Link to video in the upper left corner. So, shading needles paint the workspace much faster and injure the skin less than liner needles. But you need to be able to work with shading needles because the pigment may lie unevenly. If you feel confident in your work and have a lot of experience, you can choose magnum needles. The magnum is also kind of group of shading needles. The magnum also less enduring to the skin and you implant the pigment not very deeply. Second, the lips. Lips are a large workspace and when working with permanent makeup, they usually quickly swell. Therefore, you need to paint there as quickly as possible, and needles with diameter of 0.30 or 0.35 mm will help you with this. But if you work with watercolor technique, you can work with 0.25 mm needle diameter. When you choose a needle taper for lips, you can use the same rules as for brows. If you are a beginner artist, I recommend using the medium taper because you injure the skin less and implant the pigment not very deeply. And the needle configurations. For watercolor lips technique, I always use 1 rl because this is lighter technique. With 1 rl, I capture my sketch and paint all workspace. For lipstick technique, I use 1 rl to capture sketch and 3 rl to paint workspace, because 3 rl, 5 rl and 3 rs implants a lot of pigments and paints your workspace much faster. Third, the eyelids. The skin of the eyelids is usually thin and vascular, therefore you must be very careful in your work. I prefer to work with long taper and diameters of 0.30 and 0.35 mm. The eyelids, like lips, can swell during permanent makeup, therefore you need to paint as quickly as possible. I usually work on the eyelids with 1 rl, but for a classic arrow I sometimes use 3 rl. You need to work with the eyelids very carefully, because you may seriously injure the skin and ink may enter the blood vessel and your client will get a bruise. Well, let's sum up our video review, guys. The needle configurations are the individual parameter for each master. It depends on your technique and level of professionalism. If you are a beginner artist, I recommend using less sharp needle taper, and you must more train, because you must feel all kinds of skin for a great healthy job. I'm waiting for you on my channel. There is a video about the needle configurations. I wish you beautiful works. See you later.